Life Audio.
Welcome to the TMOS Podcast, where we share how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together. Hey, everybody, we are Ted.
And Ashley Slater. Change is one of the only guarantees in life, but here's the thing. It doesn't have to pull us apart. In fact, it can actually make us stronger. And that's what today's episode is all about, how to keep your marriage strong when life changes. We'll share 3 practical ways to not just handle change, but to embrace it together. So, Ted.
Yes, my dearest.
One of the shows we're currently watching is Parks and Rec on Peacock.
Also known as Parks and Recreation.
Right. That's the actual name of the show, which I recently learned. I thought it was Parks and Rec, and then I saw the art in our Peacock app, and I was like, oh, it's actually called Parks and Recreation.
No, see, it's because the same people that watch Les Miserables, they shorten it to Les Mis.
Right.
And so instead of Parks and Recreation, they shorten it to Parks and Rec.
Yeah, save a few syllables
Makes
there,
sense, doesn't
right?
it?
All right, well, we just hit season 7, which begins after a time skip of 3 years. And there are a few married couples on the show, but my favorite is April and Andy, and we're meeting them in this season 3 years later than in previous seasons. And April has that kind of Wednesday Addams vibe.
Kind of dark, a little creepy.
Yeah. She likes the creepy. She's kind of like deadpan and serious.
But so supportive.
And sarcastic. Yes. She acts.
She is her man's biggest fan, which is awesome.
Right. She acts like she's apathetic, but you can tell that inside she cares more than she lets on.
And Andy.
Yeah.
He's Star-Lord from...
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
Yeah, from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and he's her complete opposite. Like, he's goofy and upbeat and super positive and honestly not so smart. And, like, they shouldn't work together.
They should not.
But somehow, they're, like, perfect for each other and hilarious.
They're a good fit.
Yeah. So, in this first episode, Andy brings a crock pot home for April.
Right. And this is a crock pot that you cook in. It's not the sort of a way to transport croc shoes.
Right, exactly. It is not a container for your shoes. Okay, so he brings us home, and they're suddenly talking about all this grown-up stuff. Like how long they need to put the food in for it to cook.
Meal prep or...
Right. And schedules, and like, well, we can't do it today, we can't do it tomorrow, but we could do it Sunday. And like renter's insurance. And April panics. Like, she's worried that they have become old and boring. And she feels like marriage and adult life have changed them. And she's not wrong.
Right.
So naturally, their solution is to do something crazy, because I guess what they have in common is they're both a little crazy and spontaneous.
Impulsive, right?
Impulsive, yes. So after a few failed attempts at trying different things, they decide to buy a house that has a fire pole, a stairway to nowhere, no kitchen, and the icing on the cake for April is that it's haunted.
It does sound like an adventure.
Yeah.
The last TV show with the fire pole, wasn't that the Jonas Brothers?
I think so, where they lived in an old fire station, like a Disney Channel original series from...
I remember fondly.
Oh, that's got to be like a long time ago.
Oh, sorry.
But I remember it
Ignore
too.
that reference.
Yeah, I remember it too. Okay, so the thing is that April and Andy discover something true for all of us, and that's that both adulthood and marriage change us. And some of those changes we expect. You know, marriage is about moving from me to we.
It's true.
We expect things like sharing responsibilities and combining finances and making legal decisions together and, you know, relying on each other more and growing closer in intimacy.
It's all adult stuff.
Right.
It's sometimes not so fun.
Right. You know, but there's also changes that we don't expect. You know, maybe conflicts that are hard to solve or harder than we imagined they would be to solve. Or issues that keep popping up, or even our temptation to maybe take each other for granted. And so, you know, also, you know, sometimes we expect our spouse to say the exact same person we married, which isn't realistic or healthy.
Or healthy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that brings me to a quote that you shared with me this week. You want to share it?
I think I heard it from David Crowder, who heard it from somebody else.
Okay.
Who heard it from somebody else, and so on and so on. Healthy things grow, and growing things change.
Yes. And I actually found the quote. I think you had sent me a blog post by Pastor Brian Hardwick, but I think it was traced back to maybe Christine Kane said it first on her podcast.
Okay.
I think that's kind of where the trail led me.
The source? Cool.
Yes. But he said, that everything, plants, kids, our walk with God, even our marriage is meant to grow. And if it's healthy, it will keep moving forward, which means it will change.
It will change.
And life in general, there will be change.
There's got to be. I mean, change is a you can't have growth and health unless there's, followed by change.
Right.
Not all change is good, of course, but if you're not changing, something's broken.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he pointed out that without change, there wouldn't be seasons. Like we're going into fall now,
that's
my
a good
favorite
point, too.
season. There wouldn't be butterflies. We wouldn't have progress. Change is the evidence of
cool.
growth.
Yeah.
And our attitude shifting, our preferences evolving, and even our habits maturing.
That's true.
But like you said, change can be hard.
Oh, it often is.
Right.
Of course.
It can feel like messy and uncomfortable and even scary. So the question we're talking about is, how do we keep our marriage strong when life changes? So I thought we would look at 3 ways to not only deal with change, or 3 ideas, but actually use it to grow.
Excellent. Let's do it.
Okay. But first, we're going to take a quick break.
Quick break.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
All right. So today we're talking about change, how to not just handle it, but to allow it to make us stronger. And so I have some practical ideas. You ready for the first one?
Let's do it.
Okay. Number 1, reframe change as growth.
So, like, change the vocabulary?
Maybe.
Or what?
Well,
Like, what do you mean?
like licensed marriage and family therapist Emily Schupman encourages couples to see change, even challenges, as opportunities for growth. She says that when we look at it in that way, we can approach it with a more positive and constructive mindset.
Opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I was just talking with somebody about, what was I talking about? Pain or discomfort and how that facilitates growth. I mean, you can't really change without being uncomfortable with your previous state. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. You need something that propels you to go, I don't like this. I don't want this anymore.
Status quo needs to be different.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so how do we actually reframe change as growth?
Right.
And I think it starts with a growth mindset.
Okay.
Like we've talked about how couples don't really grow apart. We did this in a previous episode. What actually happens is they stop growing together because with a fixed mindset, everything feels stuck.
Okay.
But with a growth mindset, there's always the belief that we can keep improving both individually and as a team.
Yeah, that sounds important.
Right.
That seems like it's an important concept to mull over.
Yeah. And so if we just look at change and it's not supposed to be this way, then we're kind of stuck in a fixed mindset, right?
Or a change that's toward collapse or deconstruction or, like our bodies change. Sometimes they change for the better and you get stronger and healthier. Sometimes they just start wearing out, and that's a change that's not so positive.
No, it's not so fun.
Sorry.
Yes, but you can reframe it and say, hey, not everybody gets to live this many years.
That's
and there's that whole Andrew Peterson song about how even though our bodies are decaying, God, our spirits
Renewing?
are renewing.
Interesting.
So that's encouragement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a tangent there. But I think, okay, so...
What? A tangent on the TMUS podcast?
What?
What?
So for us, I think one real life example of reframing change as growth is been the parenting of our 2 young adult daughters. Like I dropped them off at an internship program in Florida almost a month ago.
Yeah.
That's like all the way across the country from us. If you're listening, we're in Arizona. And that wasn't easy, but we've kind of had to intentionally reframe it to kind of help us cope and process.
Right.
And that's telling us, well, it's hard for us, but it's good for them. Like
Right.
one mom online put it, healthy birds leave the nest.
That's right. And another way that I think of it is that, the scripture talks about kids as arrows in a quiver.
Right.
And arrows are not meant to stay in the quiver and, be on your back or be on the wall. They're meant to be shot out.
Yeah. And we've been telling ourselves that for years.
We are raising our kids to be shot out of the home, pushed out of the nest.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's changed and it's healthy and it's good, but hard.
We are hoping when they're done with their internship, they come back here and do stuff
at least
locally.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
2 months at least. Yeah.
All right. So reframe, change is growth.
Yes.
Number 2 is create shared meaning together.
Meaning, not just memories. I thought you were going to say shared memories. What do you mean
no
shared
meaning? Well, Dr. John Delaney says everything changes over time. There's no such thing as getting back to how things were. So he encourages couples to embrace new seasons and see ourselves as architects, not archaeologists. Meaning we need to build forward and not just dig backward.
Huh.
That's like thought-provoking,
That's heavy
right?
too. Yeah. I mean, there's a benefit in digging into your memories and history and, where you've been that can help you as you go forward. But yeah, think more about building the future. And okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so in her New York Times article, To Stay Married, Embrace Change, author Ada Calhoun wrote something I found really insightful. She said, nostalgia, which fuels our resentment towards change, is a natural human impulse.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, keep going.
And yet being forever content with a spouse or a street requires finding ways to be happy with different versions of that person or neighborhood.
Nostalgia, which fuels our resentment toward change.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And I think, like you said, there are benefits to looking
Remember the
back
good old
and
days?
remembering. Right.
Right.
But we can sit in that and go, why isn't it like that now? How can we go back to that?
Right.
And I mean, maybe there are probably aspects we can recapture in our relationship, but they're going to be different now because we're different people in a different season. So I think, in married life, we need to find ways to be happy with the different versions or seasons that change brings. And so Dr. Delaney suggests 3 steps to help us embrace the changes we encounter.
Okay.
He says, acknowledge what is, grieve what was, and own what happens next. And I think it's in that owning what happens next part that we really get to create shared meaning together.
Interesting. You're going to talk about that more.
Okay. Well, so how do we create shared meaning together? So we've got lots of quotes from people in this episode,
I love
apparently.
it. You did a lot of research.
So Dr. Gottman says that one of the best ways to build this shared meaning is through rituals, symbols, and goals.
Okay, that sounds a little scary. Rituals. I mean,
I think he means...
we're not drinking out of skulls or lighting special candles.
Right.
Okay.
You could probably say traditions.
Okay.
Rituals can be simple. They don't have to be big or fancy. It could be something you do every morning or every evening. Like we've talked about many times about our morning check-ins that we call pit stops. They're just a small daily routine that keeps us connected. So that's what he's talking about.
And I came up with that term. That would be a Ted Slater contribution.
Right.
Because she Ashley's neck was in the crook of my... Wait, the crook of your neck was in the bend of my armpit.
Yeah. And we just kind of like say good morning and talk through the day. And
a little bit of physical touch.
And then there are symbols and goals.
Okay.
And the Gottman Institute explains that we can ask each other questions like, what does home mean? Or what does sex mean? Or what does money mean? Or what does play mean? And they explain that each of these words is a symbol for a broader idea. So instead of just assuming that we're on the same page and we both think home means the same thing, or money or play or sex, we can talk about what each of these things actually means to us. And as we do, we're not only hearing each other's thoughts more clearly, but we also start to build shared meaning around those ideas together.
All right. You want to do that now? Let's talk about sex.
We'll do that later.
Okay.
I mean, I suppose we could do an episode on that at some point. All right. Well, we're going to take another short break. And when we come back, we'll talk through one more practical way for embracing change as a couple.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than just money. We help you put your plans into motion and faith into action so you can do more for the ones in your heart. Because sometimes all you need to make a difference is someone to help you make it happen. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. But Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. Christian Healthcare Ministries is an alternative to health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills while lifting one another in prayer. It's financial and spiritual support when you need it most. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
So before the break, we talked about how reframing change as growth and creating shared meaning together can help us keep our marriage strong when life changes. Are you ready to hear the third idea?
I'm absolutely ready for number 3.
All right.
Drum roll.
I had a hard time coming up with number 3.
Yeah?
But here's what I landed
Okay.
on. So practice psychological flexibility.
That's a big word.
Yes.
What do you mean?
All right.
Psychological flexibility.
Yeah. So embracing change takes flexibility, right? Yeah. If we're rigid, change feels threatening. But when we're flexible, we adapt better.
Sounds like be open to changing your mind? Or is it not that simple? It's a little deeper than that.
Well, let me tell you what the experts say, because I'm not an expert on this.
No,
so an article over at marriage.com discusses the importance of psychological flexibility in marriage, which is defined as the ability to adapt to situations with openness, awareness, and focus, and to act according to one's values, even in the face of discomfort and challenge.
All right.
And so the author that wrote that says that psychological flexibility is a secret ingredient in every marriage. Good marriage.
Okay.
And it isn't just about saying yes to everything. It's about being okay with changes, working through tough times together, and growing stronger because of them.
This is all good, hard stuff.
Right, I know.
Yeah.
Well, so if we're struggling to practice psychological flexibility, which I think we all do at some level, how can we get better at it?
Okay.
So marriage.com suggests these steps, and I'll have a link to this article in the show notes because we're not going to go into depth on each step.
Okay.
But first, identify and challenge rigid thought and behavioral patterns.
Do you want to give an example for that, or it would take too long to go through?
I'm trying to think what they talked about in...
Rigid thought and behavioral patterns.
I mean, maybe it's things that don't allow for change, that say things have to stay this way, we have to do things
we've always done it this way, we need to keep doing it this way.
I think it could be something like that.
Got it. Rigid thought, because things change. You can't be rigid. If you got a plant and you've got a rope tied to it to keep it rigid, at some point it's going to break because it's going to just grow too much and break.
Or say with our kids, if we're like, well, we've always been the ones to tell them what decision to make or how to do this, since they were little, we don't allow them to grow and become independent individuals because we're stuck in this mindset that we're the parent, they're the kid.
Got it.
Whereas with adult children, it just changes.
It does. Families and individuals have seasons. Yeah. And you have to change. Yeah. That's good. Okay. I got it. Thanks for discussing that with me.
Yes. Hopefully I got it right. I'll have to go back and look at the original article. Okay. Practice mindfulness.
Sounds new age to me. I'm messing with you.
It could, depending upon how you...
being present and being aware.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. That's super helpful.
Number 3, embrace discomfort. He just thwacked me. You can't see that.
Your leg. I just thwacked her in the leg.
4, align actions with values. 5, seek support and resources. And I would add to this list, pray about it. Ask the Lord to give you flexibility, trust his plan, and insight into what he's doing through the changes. And I guess that could go into mindfulness.
Interesting. Yeah, your last point there made me think of an entrepreneur or a business owner. Seek support and resources. Maybe you run your family like a business,
Maybe. Yeah.
Profitable.
seek support. Find that friend who's wise and godly and can give you insight, who's maybe gone through what you're going through.
Ashley did that and she married him. That would be me. That's some other guy. Just kidding.
Yeah, and resources like this podcast, right?
There you go.
Or all the sources that I'm quoting.
That you're quoting and mentioning. Absolutely.
Because, we need all the help we can get, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So are you ready to recap?
Let's do it.
Okay. Here are 3 practical ways to keep your marriage strong when life changes. 1, reframe change as growth. I keep wanting to flip those.
Okay.
2, create shared meaning together. Mm-hmm. And 3, practice psychological flexibility.
Excellent.
Okay, it's time for one more short break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we'll share this week's Us Time Challenge.
At Thrivent, planning your finances is bigger than money. It's a way to support the people, causes, and community you love. Because helping you put your faith into action is at the heart of what we do. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Health insurance rates are surging in America, leaving millions without affordable options. If you're sick of having paychecks eaten up by healthcare costs or dealing with mega corporations, then listen to this. Christians don't need to waste money on a broken system. That's why I want to tell you about Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's an alternative to traditional health insurance at half the cost. With CHM, fellow believers contribute monthly to help pay each other's medical bills. There's no enrollment period, so you can join anytime. And you aren't restricted to provider networks, so you choose the doctors and hospitals you want. It's that simple. CHM is not insurance. It's a ministry that puts faith into action. Feel the difference of financial support and biblical care from fellow believers. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
So for this week's Us Time Challenge. That's going to become a regular thing, isn't it?
I might do that. It's annoying, but...
Here's my idea.
It's my annoying, yes. What's your idea?
I think it's kind of amusing. Okay. And then if you have a different one, you can add it.
Okay.
Or tag on to it. Talk through a recent change you're experiencing, and then brainstorm some practical ways you can create shared meaning in the midst of it.
Yep, that's practical.
All right.
Good.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Team Us podcast. We're looking forward to next time as we keep talking about how grace, commitment, and cooperation can help couples live the everyday moments of marriage together.
Team Us with Ted and Ashley Slater is a production of Life Audio and Salem Media. If you liked what you heard today, please take a second to rate and review the podcast in your favorite podcast app so that more listeners like you can find the show. For more faith-filled, inspirational podcasts, visit us at lifeaudio.com.
Finding uplifting news in today's headlines is often like searching for a needle in a haystack. At the Story Behind podcast, we believe in the power of finding heartwarming tales and are happy to share empowering stories with you every week. Get inspired by the note a waitress received from a patron dining alone. And even hear about how one VIP passenger made a hardworking pilot get emotional before his flight. To start listening to the Story Behind podcast, visit lifeaudio.com